The second question is this: is it appropriate to leave legal remedies against anti-Semitism to the general law of the land, dealing with all forms of racial or religious discrimination, as most countries do? Or is there a case to be made for a legal framework dealing specifically with combating anti-Semitism? The latter course may be indicated by the especially pernicious nature of anti-Semitism, the unique nature of some of its manifestations, its historical persistence, and the global and geopolitical dimensions by which some seek to falsely justify it, and which wrongly fans it, and which it is so unhelpfully merges with. This unique combination of features may well justify anti-Semitic specific national laws. These features also indicate that a greater degree of international harmonization of anti-Semitic and other hatred laws is required, not least because the globalization of media, publishing and broadcasting, especially the internet, has made the peddling of hatred a truly cross-border, instantaneous thing. Laws need to reflect and deal with these new and even bigger threats, and international technical and mutual legal assistance, cooperation and harmonization of our laws needs to be strengthened to cope with these new tools in the hands of the spreaders and manipulators of hate. Ultimately, the effective combating of anti-Semitism will require a more multilateral global approach. In this respect, the much delayed adoption by the European Union member states in November of last year of a Council framework decision on combating certain forms and expressions of racism and xenophobia by means of criminal law is a positive, if ponderous, step. I say ponderous because the original and subsequently much negotiated proposal for such a framework decision by the European Commission was put forward by it in 2001. It has taken Europe, the so-called cradle of civilization, 7 years to negotiate a collective measure in this area. This framework decision, which is number 2008/913/JHA, must be implemented in member states by the 28th of November 2010. It establishes common criminal conduct and requires the imposition of effective and dissuasive sanctions, including, in a formula of words that only European Union bureaucrats can conceive, maximum incarceration of at least 1 to 3 years. The criminal conduct includes public condoning, denying or trivializing crimes of genocide, crimes against humanity, and war crimes as defined in Articles 6, 7 and 8 of the Statute of the International Criminal Court. So, no specific reference to anti-Semitism, but clearly covered. These obligations are said not to modify the obligation to respect fundamental rights and principles, wait for it, including the freedom of expression and association. So, as we have heard from other speakers, there is a need for stronger international legal framework and enforcement. At state level, too, it's not enough just to have national laws whilst there are states sponsoring, inspiring, or tolerating anti-Semitism with impunity. I am very happy to say, Mr. Chair, I would love to be able to tell conference all the good things that my government is doing in Gibraltar to combat anti-Semitism. Unfortunately, I cannot, because we're not doing anything at all. I'm very happy to say that in my very small country, we do not have the problem of anti-Semitism or of any other hate crime. We have a small population, which includes Christians, Jews, Muslims and Hindus, who live at very close quarters in a very small land area. Yet, and I agree with the speaker earlier today who drew the distinction between tolerance and harmonious coexistence, yet we enjoy a genuinely and naturally harmonious coexistence based on mutual respect. The people of Gibraltar, at large, would find it most peculiar and totally unacceptable if any person or group of persons, howsoever defined, were to target or manifest prejudice, hatred or discrimination against any other collective on the grounds of their race, religion, ethnic background or beliefs of any kind, still less on the basis of the policies of another country somewhere else. In Gibraltar, Jews are and are regarded as a valuable, valued and integral part of our community. In short, we have what Erwin Kotler has called on a previous occasion a culture of respect. If Gibraltar were a microcosm of the world, this conference would not be necessary, as Lord Malloch Brown and we all would wish. Thank you very much indeed for inviting me to participate in conference.
Thank you, Minister. Those of you who may have looked at the program will note that we should have had a coffee break. So what has been worked out with the organizers as follows. We will take several intervenants now and then have a coffee break, but I'll have to state to the intervenants that maximum 2 minutes for each intervention. If we go longer, people will be held up from the coffee break and some may not get to speak. So 2 minutes for each person. Seulement 2 minutes pour chaque intervenant. Okay, we begin with the representative from Tunisia.
Monsieur le Président, je ne pense pas pouvoir dire ce que je dois dire en 2 minutes. Vous allez me permettre 5 minutes. J'ai un texte où inutile de parler.
Unfortunately, I've got such a long list that if I give everybody 5 minutes, it can't work. I feel sorry about it, but that's the way it is. I'll have to ask each person to try and summarize it in 2 minutes. No? Essayez pour 2 moments. On peut dire le sens en 2 moments.
Je ne prends pas la parole.
Representative from Turkey. Yeah, no, he's here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Friendly relations have always existed between Turks and Jews throughout history. A coexistence of happiness and sorrow in good and bad days, a togetherness which was never hampered by treason or oppression, were the case between two peoples. The unique experience